Yo, what's happening, people? And welcome back to the Tiki Taka podcast, where you're going to hear hot takes, unbiased opinions, and hopefully have a couple laughs along the way.
Yes.
And today, guys have been requesting heavily for us to drop our top 10 best South American players to have played in the Premier League. And we've had this episode in the archive for a while, trying to find the time to record it. Obviously, international break now, and nobody needs to hear us talk about England or what's going on there. So, because some of the England teams this week have been dreadful, we have got a top 10. The way this works is I've asked, how many people did I ask? It's 7 people, 7 different lists, allocated points based on where they came, and then came up with a combined top 10. So before we get into this, if you're listening, please subscribe. And at the bottom, give us your list if you think that there's any South American players we missed. And just to preface, we did base this on their time in the Premier League, and what they've done in the Premier League. Obviously, this list could look different if we took their whole career and whatever.
Into
it's just easier to, if you're going to do a list like this, it's just easier to base it like that. So, a couple top 10 facts. In our top 10, 17 Premier League titles between the 10 players. So that's already tells you how prestigious some of the guys are. Yeah. What's that? 11 FA Cups, 16 League Cups, which you can tell are probably stat padded by some Man City.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It's the 16 League Cups, and 5 Champions Leagues that were won whilst these players were in the
Premier League.
Right, so that number's higher because some of them went and won Champions Leagues elsewhere. But 5, that's half of our top 10 have won Champions Leagues while they were here.
I think, to be honest, and I was thinking about this as I was sort of coming today, driving today. But the South American conga train line, from obviously South America to the Barclays Premier League, could be one of my favorite lines. Like, I feel like the hit and miss rate is very large. Like, I feel like there's a lot more misses than hits, but when they hit, they take the league by storm. Like maybe more so than a lot of other continents who obviously have players who come to the Barclays Premier League. When these guys hit, it's like, it's just non-stop. Everybody in the league knows how serious or how dangerous or how deadly the South American guys. They bring a certain je ne sais quoi to English football.
I think Paquetá epitomizes that. Like, he's at West Ham and he's signing from Lyon. A couple clubs were interested.
Yeah, no one really knows what package they've got here.
Thinks, and now City were willing to pay 100 million before he had this controversy and whatever. We would take him in our midfield,
100%.
Yeah. Like, and he's just that guy with flair. He can create something out of nothing. He gets up and down. I think Paquetá actually epitomizes something like that. And then you got different kind of players like Savinho now. Gabriel Magalhaes, who I desperately wanted to get into my top 10.
Trying to find a way.
Desperately, but
we'll be there soon. Don't worry.
Right, as soon as he wins that title, though.
Yeah. It's a couple names that have to...
Could be number 1.
Couple names
I could drop out. I could put him number 1. I'll make my case. But look, we'll get into it. So, how many names did we have? We had 19 names. So I'll read off a couple of these, and then when we get to the top 10, we'll talk in more detail. 19th, Willian. Nick had him last. And Willian was, we talk about the guy Willian was at Chelsea.
Yeah.
Very serious guy.
Yeah, very serious.
What he did at Arsenal, it's affected me putting him on my list.
I feel like that with a couple of players, actually. Yeah. It's not just Willian. Yeah. But speaking on what he did at Chelsea, bro, Willian was one of those wingers where he wasn't the mainstay of the team, apart from that one season when Hazard wasn't balling and Willian was balling, scoring free kicks left, right, and center, corners, all this kind of stuff. But he was just he was consistently the third piece on a team and would show up when you needed him to show up. And I also really enjoyed his story. Obviously, was meant to go to Tottenham, and then deadline.
He was having a medical at Tottenham.
Last minute switch, and now all of a sudden he's a blue, and it makes it all the more interesting or all the more funnier that he actually turns out to be a good player.
Yeah,
you know.
And to give Willian the respect that he deserves, that player at Chelsea, I think if Arsenal had that player, they would have won the league last year. Or
that player at Chelsea was a 2-footed, either winger.
Imagine that guy on the left.
Exactly. Quality goals and assists. Like, as I say, he wasn't the main man. Chelsea always had a Hazard,
big
they always
goals
had
as
a
well.
X, Y, and Z, but Willian would chip in, would turn up, would do his thing when you needed him, when certain guys were out, injured, or whatever it would be. Willian's putting in the quality ball to win you the game.
Yep. Do his defensive work.
Yeah.
The Willian set pieces, the free kicks, the pens.
And it also must be said, the longevity, obviously he's just left the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
But the longevity that he's had in the Prem. Obviously our stint was poor.
Yeah.
But then he went to Fulham and wasn't too bad at Fulham.
True.
So it was like he's been here probably
Played well
9
at
seasons
Fulham.
or however long Willian has been here for.
That's the other thing about the South Americans. They love London.
If they can get to London,
yeah, they love it.
That's it.
They don't want to leave.
That's the final nail.
Do the merry-go-round.
Yeah.
All of it.
They've just got to come here first.
Willian's got a restaurant in West. I think he's got an Italian restaurant or something. But we'll move on. Look, 18th, Zabaleta. Again, Nick had him 9th. And Zabaleta, in some ways, may be unlucky not to have got more votes.
Yeah, 100%.
Because he was a very solid player in a team that won the league.
I think that's the thing, is like he's come from, I was going to say humble beginnings, but like he's come from a position where he's not like the most talented, or he's not been well highly thought of, or X, Y, and Z, but he took the place of Micah Richards, and he deservedly did and didn't give it up, and was pivotal in some of these league trophies that City won.
Yeah.
He's a good player.
Yeah. I don't think there's much more to say there. 17th, Antonio Valencia. I had him 9th.
I rate Valencia, but I don't rate Valencia.
Yeah, but I mean, no one else picked him. He only got 1 vote from me. But I just think with the titles that Valencia won and the positions he was playing.
Yeah, I hear it. The Wigan stuff
thing as well.
The Wigan stuff wasn't bad.
Yeah, became a right back. I think he was. I just looked at Antonio Valencia as like he started his career as a winger at Man United and was putting up numbers, scoring goals and whatnot, and then played as a right back for the next like 7 years. Under different managers. I just thought Antonio Valencia deserved some respect.
He definitely deserves some respect. I think when I say I don't rate Antonio Valencia, it's more so just that like he doesn't actually embody what I envision when I think of a lot of South American players, you know, and the stuff that I'm talking about. When they hit, and they take the league by the scruff of the neck and all this kind of stuff. So,
but he does embody an Ecuadorian player.
He did, yeah.
Right? We look at Caicedo.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? He does embody that.
He does. No, and that's what I'm saying. He does deserve the respect of the longevity he had, the stuff at Wigan, the stuff at Man United, becoming a right back, different managers, holding it down, longevity. He deserves that respect. I think the only reason I didn't vote for him was because obviously when I think of South American players, in my mind, I have a bias towards the like, you know,
the silky ones.
The dog, the like sweatband.
100%. There are better players than Antonio Valencia, but I think for what Antonio Valencia achieved in the Prem, I think there's a level of respect I give to him for coming and doing that. The guys always say that not a lot of people can say that they're a Premier League winner, right? And I think he might be two-time or 3-time Premier League winner.
Yeah, for sure. And I remember in those seasons when they were winning the league that he wasn't a scrub. He wasn't being carried.
Yeah,
for sure.
He was a good piece.
He was a participant.
But 16th, Edu, voted for by one person.
I had Edu.
Michael here. This was before
Edu had left.
Came out.
There used to be a multi-factor reason as to why Edu was in there.
So now,
speaking on his playing career, hey, Edu is a undefeated. He's an invincible. Played a lot of games in that invincible season. Started a lot of games more than you would think in that invincible season. And then obviously I was given.
He wasn't first choice.
He wasn't first choice. If Arsenal had their strongest team out, I will accept that Edu wouldn't be in that strongest team.
Yeah.
But Arsenal almost never had their strongest team out. And Edu was a large reason as to why the performances never dipped. And I just think
role player
with serious accolades. And then obviously he has some extracurricular Premier League activities, taking Arsenal as a sporting director type role from eighth to now.
So openly some bias.
100%.
Because this isn't top 10 sporting directors.
Yeah, but it's top 10 South American contributors.
Yeah, cool. That's look. Another thing to say. when I ask people for these lists, I try not to give any sort of information
guidelines
of how,
or whatever.
exactly, because I want them to just do it off how they feel and what they think. So, and that way we get more players, we get more names to talk about. 15th, Ramirez. 1 vote. Matt had him.
This is like a cult hero, I feel like.
Yeah. Ramirez again. I see Ramirez similar to Valencia.
Yeah.
In that I'm not sure if Ramirez might have won one Premier League, but he obviously had big things to say in the Champions
League. I think that's the biggest credit you could give Ramirez. He scored huge goals.
Yeah.
And he also made them look relatively easy whilst he did them.
And Ramirez was always just a guy that you don't want to have to play against. You don't want to see your team play against a midfield that has Ramirez in it.
100%. I also, it always irked me, the 7 on his back. Always irked me.
Yeah.
Always. Just did, especially at that time when it was like the numbers meant your position, or more so than it does now. Yeah. So for Ramirez to have the 7 on his back and be playing, almost as a 6, it used to just piss me off so much. But I do respect the hell out of what he did. And I feel like he rarely gets brought up, other than us, other than by, cult classic Chelsea fans or whoever, but he never really gets brought up in any sort of nostalgic conversations or any sort of anything conversations. But he was a good player, Ramirez,
for sure.
no doubt.
Because Arman gave, and Arman's a Chelsea fan, gave his list. He didn't have Ramirez. He said honourable mention for Ramirez, but he didn't actually put him in the list. So, again, I agree. I think he's one that's forgotten about. But in 14th, Mascherano.
Yeah, I had Mascherano.
1 vote from Michael.
Mascherano was cold.
Yeah, Mascherano could have been in my list. Again, all these players really could have made my list over maybe a Valencia. I have Mascherano on my short list. A mixture of, I don't know if he was here long enough for me to put him in.
I thought that, but then I thought he kept West Ham up, and then he went on to Liverpool.
Yeah, but can I knock off a guy who's won 2 Premier League titles for Mascherano? Even though Mascherano's a better player. I
will admit that Mascherano's sort of greatest ever achievements came outside of the Premier League, for sure. But I do think that he is a Prem product, and I think he's one of the best South American Prem products. Kind of like a Zabaleta type thing, where it's like understated, underspoken, but done a very, very, very good job. And then he's had a bit more success as he's moved on,
and better than Zabaleta. This is one of the ones where if we did the list across their whole careers,
he'd be more hard.
Definitely make a top 10. He'd definitely be in the top 10. And that midfield that Liverpool had of Mascherano, Alonso, and Gerrard,
cold. It's probably the best.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised that midfield couldn't win something. There was obviously other problems in their team, but if the Liverpool team now had that midfield, it'd be a wrap.
Yeah, it's a joke.
9 points clear. I'll be saying, this is
over.
Yeah, sticky.
This is over.
There's the balance in that with Mascherano and Alonso and Gerrard.
Shaved head Mascherano. I won't forget, man. I won't forget how serious that guy was.
When he got 2 yellow cards in like 30 seconds. At Old Trafford. But no, and then we went to Barca, started playing as a centre back. Played for Argentina.
It always felt like Liverpool tried to replace Mascherano with the Lucas Leivers. They tried to find almost a direct replacement for him, but couldn't really.
Aquilon. Could never got close to it. 13th, another DM, Fabinho. Fabinho got 2 votes. And Marsembi and Adele had him. And Fabinho,
very good player when he was here. It's the drop off.
The drop off.
It's the drop off that I think a lot of us haven't voted
If you
for.
watch this pod,
you know
we've spoken about the Fabinho.
He's an example.
We could do a top 10 drop offs.
Yeah.
That could be quite funny. Top 10 biggest drop offs.
Right. Yeah, you be top 2.
Yeah, Fabinho's drop off. Fabinho went from the best DM in the league.
Yeah.
Just won the Prem, Champions League finals, to top 3 worst DMs in the league.
And he went from the best DM in the league for sure to like borderline like top 3 DMs in the world shouts. Guys, I remember the serious debates of should Casemiro start ahead of Fabinho for Brazil?
Yep.
These kind of conversations, because that was his level for 2 years.
Yep.
And then as you say, every man and his dog was running past Fabinho in midfield and he could not get back. But that's what you get for lying about your age. We all knew Fabinho when he came wasn't 24 or 25 or however old Fabinho said he was when he came. Because by the time he was 28, 29, he had no legs. He had nothing left.
But even then, it happened so quick.
It was and I literally remember the drop off season because I was enjoying the narrative that Fabinho is not who he once was. But I always kind of thought he'd get back, and that was just a poor game. And there was, I can't remember who it was, but there was one game where Fabinho was just getting dribbled past, and I was like, oh, he is done. Like he's not coming back from this. Those
bit
legs,
like the Casemiro thing.
Yeah. I was like, those legs, they're not just all of a sudden gonna gain energy and they're gonna get up the pitch. It's some of the cynical fouls that he was doing. It wasn't in his fall off season. It wasn't even the like, I need to make this challenge. It was the he's got round me.
Yeah.
And
we weren't looking at it as like, oh, that's a great knowing the game, knowing the situation, that's just he's out of position and he cleaned him out. That's all it was.
But he does deserve some love,
because if he was the best DM,
he was the best DM, and he won things in the league.
Champions League, won everything, right? So fair play. I understand that 2 people voted for him, but in 12th place, and this person's above Fabinho with only 1 vote, is Philip Coutinho, voted for by 1 player.
Am I the only person that rates Philip Coutinho?
I rate Philip Coutinho highly, and I'm pretty sure other people do. But again,
they don't think he's a top 10 South American player in this league.
Premier League.
Still, I think his best work came in the Prem.
Yeah, but he didn't win anything.
And my thing was, I
think on my list, I'll just check it now. Every player's won something in this league.
And I agree with that. I do hear that. But and I'm always normally the guy who leans towards the winning things. But the way I was judging this list was, as I say, how they made me feel upon the South American standard. Yeah. Of like, you can come to this league, you can grab it by the balls, and you can do what South Americans do, which is pretty much just score anyhow, anywhere, any game. Yeah. And I wasn't even the biggest Coutinho guy early on into his Liverpool career. I was like, he's nice, but I thought bit lightweight, bit this, bit that type of thing, yeah. And then there was
but he improved.
But there was that season where he was scoring, a 35, 40 yarder. And it's not even just the distance, bro. It's the way the ball the ball is
travels.
It's 20, 30 yards above the post. And then it just top bins, hits the bar, goes in.
Consistent as well.
That's what
it wasn't I'm saying. One like 10 or 15.
Yeah. And also the shots that they were outrageous in the sense of like, he would get it from midfield, simple pass from Jordan Henderson. It's like one touch out my feet. Bang, 35 yards, posting in. Keepers at full stretch. As you say, consistent week on, week in, week out. And I did think that, I agree, Coutinho never won anything in the league. But when Liverpool were looking to get out of their banter era, he was a massive part of that.
Yeah, I agree.
In terms of just the performances he was putting in. I remember the performances versus City. I remember the performances versus sort of Chelsea and us in certain games.
Yeah,
it was just like, man, we can't. Man United. I remember that goal he scored versus Man United in the cup.
Yeah.
To knock him out when he dinks it over De Gea. I was like, yo, this guy is for me the definition of the quality.
To this day has scored one of the best goals I've ever seen live. At the Emirates. He scored a free kick. It was the first game of the season. He scored a free kick from like, albeit it was Petr Cech. About Petr Cech, but it was when you're in the stadium, they get a free kick and it's like 30, 35 yards and you're like, oh, he's not gonna score.
Over the bar, into the wall.
Keeper will save it or whatever, right? And it just flew into the top corner. Petr Cech had no chance. And Coutinho, I rate Coutinho highly. I think Coutinho, but the other thing is that Liverpool sold him.
I was about to say,
and good business. They got their money, very good business. But they sold him and they went and won everything.
No, but I was gonna say, I think when I had him in my list, I took it off the transfer fee. They bought him for like,
it wasn't a lot, 16 million, maybe,
something like that.
Million,
they sold him for 147 or whatever it was mil, and I think for that profit. On the player that they had, I think that also contributed to why I put him into the list. That is great business. Sign a guy for 60 mil, sell him for 147 mil, and then go on to win everything.
That's why it's great business.
But I hear that, but I don't. It's like, you can never really know because they wouldn't have been able to get VVD and Salah and Alisson without the Coutinho money. But I don't think Coutinho was the one holding them back from.
I agree. Because whilst Coutinho was there, they had a 6-month period because he left in January. But they had a 6-month period where they had Coutinho behind Salah, Mane, and Firmino.
Yeah,
and I thought Coutinho was the best of all 4 of them.
yeah,
Right? And you know how highly I rate Mane and even Salah and Firmino, right? But because I thought he was the best and they were able to sell him and then go and win everything, that also kind of altered my... And that's not against him.
Yeah,
like,
no.
Like he's gone to Barcelona. But the fact that just happened, it taints it a bit.
I also remember vividly, and this is another reason I put him in, I remember the devastation that Liverpool fans felt selling Coutinho. Yes, they got 147 mil or whatever it was. But I remember the feeling amongst Liverpool fans of our best player has just left.
Yeah.
Obviously, they didn't know what Salah and Mane and Firmino would go on to do and all this kind of stuff. But I remember those first couple of weeks after Jan of just like, it was us when we lost RVP and we lost Fabregas. That was how Liverpool fans were feeling.
Yeah.
Another big club has just come in and taken our best player. And I remember thinking, like, that's the devastation you get when you lose somebody of that quality and magnitude. And Liverpool fans, up until that point, thought he embodied the club.
Yeah, agreed.
But I think more people should have voted for him. I do. Like, I hear it maybe not having him in your top 10 or whatever it might be, but he should have got a special mention from a lot of other guys. Like, Coutinho was a serious baller in this league.
Yeah.
Serious baller in this league.
100% he was. But I think a lot of other guys maybe had another Liverpool asset, but we'll get onto that. In 11th place, Edison. He got 3 votes. Arman had him 4th. And for me, there are so many good South American players. What you're saying about the kind of South American players that you like, I can't put a goalkeeper in my top 10. It's just bias. It's just maybe he deserves to be there. Edison has 5 or 6 prems, which is ridiculous. It's more than any other goalkeeper, I'm pretty sure.
I've come around.
I just can't put a goalkeeper.
My Edison takes are. I used to rate Edison very highly.
Yeah,
I used to rate him above Alisson, but that was maybe more so just agenda stuff. Alisson is the best keeper in the Prem. Yeah, the best keeper. I'd say second in the world to Courtois. Courtois the only guy I ever heard of him. Yeah. But I agree with you in the sense of, like, I worry, or I have hesitation putting Edison in top 10 anything, like, South American players, goalkeeper players, type of stuff, because I know Edison makes mistakes.
No, I'd put him in a goalkeeper list.
Not the only, but the credit I give Edison is Edison 100% changed the game. 100%. Yeah, Edison's quality on his feet has never been seen before. Yeah. We've seen keepers who've potentially tried to be, good keepers with their feet, super keepers, kick out. Yeah. But some of the passes we see Edison play, some of the risks we see Edison take, no one else. Let's not kid ourselves. No one else was taking those mistakes, was doing those things. Yeah. And another credit I'll give Edison is I never thought he would be a Pep, like, 6 or 7 season player. Yeah. Maybe 1 or 2. It's good with his feet. Up until Pep could coach somebody else to do something similar to Edison. But, like, tattoos on his neck and all this kind of stuff. I was shocked to see Pep is like, I need Edison for 7 seasons.
Yeah.
Won't
let him leave.
There's no way Edison turns up to every meeting on time. There's no way Edison
Yeah, remember the rumors this summer Ortega's getting too much love.
Pep was saying about Ortega. I know if Pep could justify it, he would have Ortega in there without any... push, my Spanish brother, Stefan, Stefan works hard and all this, Stefan is with me. And
I think though, Arman put him in there because I think I remember Arman saying when he picked Edison that he's won 6 Premier Leagues, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, he's got some golden. He probably has 3 golden gloves.
I think that's more than Van der Sar, that's more than Schmeichel, that's more than all these guys.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough. Though I just didn't put him in purely because I'm not putting a goalkeeper on my list. And the next guy, I think, is another goalkeeper who's, I think is, 10th place, Thiago Silva.
Okay.
Got 4 votes. Sembi had him 3rd, and I actually had him on my list. I had him 10th on mine. So he was one of the guys that obviously would have made my list over Coutinho. I think Thiago Silva
should have made my list. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Such a brilliant centre back his whole career, and I think even when he came to the Prem, I thought he was kind of past it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it wouldn't. But then Chelsea churned out managers, and Thiago Silva was
Just
coming
stayed.
back into the team. And then Thomas Tuchel comes in and he plays in the middle of a back three that goes and wins the Champions League.
Yeah, I think my love for Thiago Silva is, as you said, there's a little bit of like he surpassed expectations. We knew he was a great player, but thought maybe his best years were behind him. And I also thought for sure Thiago Silva is here for a year.
Yeah.
2 years max, and the second year is
The
bench.
London thing.
Yeah, 2 years, and the second year is bench minutes. You know, where Chelsea already have somebody else, and they signed Koulibaly, whatever they had signed, and it's like, all right, you know, Thiago Silva just comes off for the cup games and leadership in the changing room. Thiago Silva did like 5 seasons in the Prem,
and he was playing every week,
and he was so good.
Yeah.
And he was so good every week.
Yeah.
Every week he was the glue, holding whoever it was.
Especially in Tuchel's team.
Yeah.
When he played in the back three, and the spaces were occupied with Rudiger and Aspi and whoever it was, he was so serious.
Yeah. I got a lot of love for and respect for Thiago Silva.
And then when I was comparing him with, like, for a 10th place on my list, him or Coutinho, like,
trophies.
That's it. That's all I can bring it down to, because they're both exceptional players.
I think it's a testament to Thiago Silva for the career that he's had, that he can get on this list for just his Premier League years alone.
Yeah.
Like, that's a testament to what he's done in this game and what he's done in football. Is like, we know him as an AC Milan player, we know him as a PSG player. He did like 19 years at PSG.
Yeah. He was boosted by Amos Sembi having him third, which I don't think he would have made the list anyway. But I think he's one of Sembi's favorite ever players. So
no, Thiago Silva is top, man. I do have a lot of love. And if you're asking about, you know, centre back prototypes,
yeah,
6'2", 6'3", however tall he is, you know, in his heyday, quick, strong, good on the ball. Some of Thiago Silva's passes, either foot, left foot, right foot, 70 yards.
Well, hold that thought, because a Brazilian centre back that can pass the ball. In 9th place is David Luiz, who had 3 votes, and Oman had him third. Oman told me he was going to try and put David Luiz as high as he could possible in this list. I did the same thing. I had David Luiz 5th. You think all-time South American players? I've got him 5th.
No, that's crazy.
Because I think that David Luiz's profile,
I agree with this.
I think he has the most unique profile we might have ever seen.
This is why, like, for Oman to do it as a Chelsea fan, I hear it. And for you as well, yeah? Like, I agree that the David Luiz profile is 6'4", good passer, could play 6, could play 8, you know.
And let me explain that a bit, because the guys are going to think Ronaldo, Messi, or whatever. When I say profile, obviously guys are not reaching the levels of Ronaldo or Messi, but there are wingers that look somewhat like that.
Yeah.
Whose game is similar to that. I don't think that we have seen a centre-back or a player even whose profile is what David Luiz's is.
For example, to aid your points, let's say like a Pau Torres, or let's say a like who's another centre back? Like Pau Torres, who we think could be the best centre back on the ball in the league. I still would have put a candle next to him.
No, he's not close.
And David Luiz on the ball.
He's not close.
At the back.
And I would never want to see Pau Torres play in midfield.
Of course. Yeah. But I think that speaks to the one-of-one, the uniqueness of the profile. Whoever you want to say is the best on-the-ball centre-back in the league today, passing range, whatever, you know, what he can do, short, medium, long passes. David Luiz had that in abundance on his spare day. David Luiz could find the 70-yard ball straight to the guy in midfield. He could from centre-back position pick out the third man run that we're asking our 6 to do, or asking our 8 to do. You know, pick up whoever it is who's making that third man run into midfield and beyond, breaking into the box. The only reason I didn't have him so high is because of the Arsenal stuff. And he wasn't terrible at Arsenal. Won FA Cups.
Right.
Won FA Cups.
And he had a big performance in that.
I just think his performances were up and down. Like when he was good, 100%. He was very good. But when he was shit, it was red cards.
No, I agree.
Own goals. It was.
I'm basing this off the Chelsea David Luiz. Really.
But I agree with your one-on unique profile. We haven't seen another centre back like David Luiz in this league.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people sort of like can clown him, or there'll be all these like fail comps that you can post of David Luiz, but David Luiz's stuff on the ball, even defensively, like I think he's a top passer, but in that back three, defensively,
in the middle of the
he knew what he was doing. He knew what headers he needed to win.
A big thing about David Luiz, is that David Luiz won the Champions League in his first stint at Chelsea. So when Chelsea won it in 2012,
he was there.
He won it with them, and I think he started the final because obviously Terry was out. I think he started the final at centre back with Cahill, and he scored his penalty. Remember he took that massive long run up.
Yeah.
So he did that, came back, obviously won the league with Conte, in one of the best league title wins. But the other thing, the David Luiz screamers.
Yeah. There's almost nothing like it.
The free kick for Brazil.
The one versus Fulham.
Yeah, it's serious.
50 yards. Halfway.
We watched a comp of some of David Luiz's passing.
Yeah.
And the ball's getting off the screen and it's looping down and it's landing.
No, David Luiz's profile is very, very, very unique.
And I personally love David Luiz as a footballer. So I did the same thing as Arman. Obviously, Arman's a Chelsea fan, so he managed to get him. But I was gonna put David Luiz as high as possible.
David Luiz, I think I don't know too many other people that would like think of him when they came to top 10 players. But I'm not mad at anybody putting him in the top 10.
Yeah.
I would just have him between 10th and 5th.
Yeah, that's fair. But we'll move it on. And in 8th place, I spoke about the other Liverpool asset, Roberto Firmino. Got 5 votes. So compared to Coutinho, who only got the 1 vote from you, 5 people.
I can't believe Coutinho's only got 1 vote from me. But like, I can't believe, guys. Yeah, trophies, whatever. But
even Adele picked Firmino and Fabinho over him. So
Firmino was never going to make my list.
Yeah, I remember you saying. But yeah, he got 5 votes. Matt had him 5th. I had him 7th. Again, Firmino's another guy. I love Firmino's game. I think Firmino almost set the tone of like up until that point the Barclays Premier League, the English Premier League was very much if you're gonna win the league, your striker
needs to get this goals, and that. Right?
Because this was before Pep won it without a striker.
Or even just play a certain way. Yeah. It has to be the lead the front line.
Exactly, the big man or whatever, It was the Barclays Premier League was always known for that. Your striker has to score that many goals. And Firmino was the one guy, I think in the season Liverpool won the league, he might have scored 9 goals.
Yeah.
I don't even think he got double digits.
And I think all of them were at home or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Or away from
And to do that, but the eye test, when you watch Firmino, you could see how crucial he was to that team. The way Jurgen Klopp used to talk about him, the way I try and talk about Havertz potentially being good enough for Arsenal to win the league as a striker.
It's because of the Firmino blueprint.
It's not necessarily because of that, but that's what I'm envisioning. It's like a left winger that scores the amount of goals that Mane scores, Saka doing what Saka does, and Havertz facilitating that. And to just see that, I thought Firmino's game was very, very nice to watch.
I never rated Firmino that highly, but I respect his game. I don't want it to be on a disrespectful thing. The thing I respect the most about Firmino is he fully grasped his role in the team and accepted it and flourished within that. He didn't ask to be a Salah. When I remember those seasons,
I don't think he could have been.
I remember those seasons when obviously Liverpool were playing and they're winning games, but there was a little bit of like, Salah didn't pass to Mane for that chance, and Salah scored, or Mane didn't pass to Salah. There's a goal competition between the two of them. Who's going to score?
Mane comes off moaning.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff, I respect the hell out of Firmino for never even wanting to interject himself into that kind of stuff, or never wanting to like, but I'm the number 9 and I've got the 9 on my back, and I know what it means to be 9 for Liverpool and all this kind of stuff, and demand to take certain penalties and demand to take certain things. Like Firmino very much was like, bro, these guys get 20 goals a season, and if I do my job facilitating, we will win top trophies, and I respect the hell out of him for that. I couldn't necessarily. Maybe it is a little bit of Barkley stuff. Like I do have a bias of my 9 scoring goals. Yeah, I've always said I prefer my 9 to just put it in the back of the net. But My leaving out of Firmino isn't necessarily because I think he's a bad player or not a top 10 South American player in this league, because he definitely has the attributes, the flair, the goals in big games, the like
some of the Firmino assists.
Yeah. I remember the one when he came to Arsenal, man, and he danced through like four to make it like 3-0. I remember that goal. I always, I was just like, bro, slipping and sliding. Firmino was coming. He's moonwalked on the carpet, and guys have.
He used to have a good record against Arsenal, but if I was just looking at it from a player quality perspective, and that's where I'm there with you with the Coutinho thing. I think Coutinho was a better player than Firmino, even in their time in the Premier League.
I hear that.
But Firmino won it with everything.
I do agree that Firmino,
not just the Prem, Champions League, FA Cup, Carabao
I do agree
Cup.
that Firmino, as I say, because of his, and I think it's really respectable, man, to like be a very, very, very talented player, and to be like, okay, there are more talented players than me here. I need to do this role. Yeah. I think that deserves a lot. That's why I give Benzema.
And also because I think Firmino also doesn't have the capacity to be a goal scorer, right? I don't think he has that in his game. I don't think he's that kind of player. I think he's the kind of player that wants to drop deep, wants to link up the play.
I think I'm 50-50 on that. I think he is that player that wants to drop deep and but I do think that it became apparent that Salah and Mane have much more of that capacity. Like I do think that if you ask Firmino
ever score 20 league goals,
I don't know if he could ever score, but I think if you ask Firmino, does he want to score 20 league goals? Can you put him in positions to score 20 league goals? Like I think Firmino would have, if he wasn't playing for Klopp or if he wasn't playing with Salah and Mane, would have come. He's a striker, so I can't accept the fact that a striker doesn't want to score. But he
was like a 10 when he came, though, innit?
Yeah, but he very quickly got the number 9, and he very quickly got.
It's the Xerxes 9.5.
Yeah,
I never look at Firmino
and think he can get 20 goals, and I agree with that. But I think Firmino himself, if he didn't have Salah there, if he didn't have Mane there, would be like, all right, I can get goals, maybe. And I want to work on my game to get 15, 16, 17.
But I think Firmino felt most comfortable playing the role he played.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue against that. I'm not going to argue against that for sure.
For players like that, and I don't want to compare him to Havertz too much, but I don't think they necessarily want the pressure of I have to score every week.
Brazilians, they don't like that pressure. It seems like
because. And I'm not there going to compare him to Gabriel Jesus, but
it's a Brilliant thing. It seems. Is that what you're saying?
But I think because I think the same thing with Havertz of like I think Havertz can leave the pitch, and he's spoken about his mentality maybe starting to change and whatever. But I think Havertz can leave the pitch without scoring a goal and think that
I've done well today.
He had a good game, right? And I think if Havertz can contribute with 9 goals and 8 assists. But his winger here and his winger here are getting 20. I think Havertz will be very comfortable in that role.
I do agree that there's the similarity. That's the line between I'm willing to do this for the team above myself.
Like Firmino's work rate as well. We talk about Havertz.
Yeah, it's true. That's their team players. That's the biggest thing about Firmino. He's the definition of a team player. If he has to do this for the team to win, he'll do it. Even if it means he scores 5 less goals, he has to work in these channels relentlessly. Like Havertz, win these headers that no one else is even challenging for.
Make this run to make the space for.
And that's where I agree with your point of like he was happier to do that because of his team orientated like mindset. He was happier to do that than I guess sit in the box.
And I never looked at, for as much as I love this game, I never looked at Firmino as like a killer, a one chance one.
No, he wasn't that. He wasn't that. I mean, they signed a couple other strikers as well in and around that time.
Yeah,
like Liverpool were rotating between like 3 or 4 strikers. And not just Firmino, but he was the best at what he could do.
And he was also just a striker that we hadn't really seen be so successful. In the league.
We've seen strikers like him, but not to the success level that Firmino was able to achieve with
like Firmino's not. I mean, talk about the profiles thing, and maybe we're going a bit off topic here, but RVP's profile is as unique as he's not.
Yeah,
but I'm saying RVP's profile could be as unique as David Luiz's in terms of like a one-of-one we haven't seen.
Yeah,
but RVP was comfortable knowing I'm the guy that's going to score.
Do you know who goals. I think Firmino is not like, but a player in today's game that should, I can't even say model his game after Firmino, but I think there's a lot of similarities between João Felix and Firmino.
Yeah.
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 And I think obviously João Felix is a little bit smaller and can't play as much of the 9 role that Firmino played.
Yeah.
But that like 9, 10
Yeah.
connect the play. If I have as you say, wingers that can score 20 plus on either side, I have enough Jogo Benito in me to make this work. You know?
And game intelligence.
Yeah,
understanding of where I need to be, and the way he used to set the press, Firmino, was again like that's something that I see from Havertz.
And the quality, to your point, last thing on Firmino, the quality of Jurgen Klopp deserves a lot of praise, because the good thing about Firmino is he had a good first touch and a good weight of pass. For this 9.5 thing that we're asking him for. So when Liverpool were turning the ball high up the pitch or doing that long ball thing, Firmino was perfect for that. He was perfect to get Salah in. He was perfect to get Mane in, because he could bring it down under pressure. He could turn. He could play somebody in. And that deserves a lot of respect. And I think João Felix could do that, not to a Firmino extent, but
he's definitely that sort of
profile.
For sure.
But it shows you the success level that Firmino's got to, because João Felix will never win everything.
Yeah. And but again, that's also, Firmino's not as high on my list as other players, because that success that we're talking about, like Firmino can almost only play that role if he's getting wingers.
Also, we have some gunmen.
Exactly.
We have some legit South American gunmen on this list.
But look, 7th place, Alisson. I feel like this list is becoming way too Liverpool heavy. I didn't even clock this one. There's Fabinho, Alisson, Coutinho, Firmino. But Alisson, you've already spoken a bit about him. You think he's the best goalkeeper in the league, second best in the world. He got 5 votes. Nick actually had him second. Again, same thing with Edison. He didn't make my list because I wasn't going to pick a goalkeeper.
I hear that. I don't think he did make my list. But
he didn't make your list.
But I respect the hell out of Alisson. I think Alisson is, like, as I've already said, second best in the world, if not best in the league. And like, there's still some shots and saves and stuff that Alisson makes. I'm like, how has he got that, man?
Yeah, when you're 1v1 with Alisson,
that one should go in.
And he makes there's a Dele Alli one where he makes a fingertip side.
My fakest Alisson moment is that header to get them top 4. I hate that moment. But I respect Alisson for doing it, and when kind of like
around.
And this is again, like, I give Klopp his respect and his praise, because when Alisson came, I thought, he's probably a good keeper, but how good can he really be? It's coming from
Roma, right?
It's coming from Roma. He's not really. No other club is like competing to get the signature from Liverpool.
And they broke the record, didn't it, for a goalkeeper when they signed it?
When they signed him at the time, But Alisson has been worth his weight in gold, man. He's
100%.
A top keeper.
Not really too much more to say on that. I agree. I think he's the best keeper in the Premier League. Just when you go through 1v1 and you got to beat Alisson, I think that's a tough task. Other than Courtois, like you said, I think it's the toughest. All right, 6th place. This is more like it. Some Arsenal representation. This guy got 5 votes, and I had him second, which is the highest. Invincible Gilberto Silva had to make my list, and he had to be number 2 because he was part of a Premier League team that never lost.
Edu as well.
They didn't.
So him and
this is the main guy.
He's a linchpin.
This was the main guy, bro. Him and Patrick Vieira. And guys,
30.
don't. I feel like Gilberto Silva is almost a bit underappreciated.
Yeah, he is.
Because obviously Patrick Vieira is the guy. He's the captain. He is who he is. But the way Gilberto Silva used to sit in front of that back 4, we didn't replace Gilberto Silva till we signed Declan Rice.
Yeah, no, I agree. Gilberto Silva is
Coquelin was
amongst Arsenal fans. His legacy is obviously so set in stone, man. I remember those goals versus Liverpool, that game. Gilberto Silva. You know, I think kind of like Ramirez, he's not really brought up that much in conversations. Kind of just like, he was a good player, but you know, they always, as you say, they go back to Paddy V, they go back to whoever else it is at the time, Roy Keane or whatever.
Obviously, it wasn't part of this team, but Emmanuel Petit.
But Gilberto Silva, as you say, was linchpin, way more than
unsung hero.
100%, and a proper 6 at that, man.
He used to allow Patrick Vieira to go forward, go and do what he needed to do, and playing in the midfield too as well. And I can't say enough, bro. Invincible.
Yeah.
He's an invincible. So
I
think he's the only invincible in the top 10.
Yeah.
So
no, Gilberto Silva. Fans don't know, but now you know. Go do your Googles, go do your YouTubes.
Yeah.
You'll realize there's a reason we have him ahead of Fabinho. And guys, this is a serious
No,
football.
no, we don't need to talk. That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. All right. More Arsenal representation. Surprised this guy actually finished above Gilberto Silva, but in 5th place. I'll read this out quickly again, just so guys know. So 10th place, we had Thiago Silva. 9th place, David Luiz. 8th place, Firmino. 7th place, Alisson. 6th place, Gilberto Silva into the top 5. And 5th place, Alexis Sanchez had 7 votes. And yours truly, Michael, had him the highest. He had him 3rd.
Like you guys were saying with David Luiz, like you guys were saying with whoever, I was going to have Alexis Sanchez as high up as I humanly could possibly have.
Yeah.
Alexis
I clocked
Sanchez.
that as soon as you sent me the list.
But I've been on record. You know I'm a Sanchez guy.
Yeah.
I love Alexis Sanchez, or at least in particular his time at Arsenal, because I think it's been very rare for Arsenal to have one of those, air quotes, South American players. Those South American players. We never really had.
Wenger never used to sign them.
We never really had a lot.
Arteta's changed that now.
Yeah, Arteta's definitely changed
Wenger
that.
never used to sign them.
Never used to sign them, and the ones that we would get was like an ad hoc hero. Joe Campbell was coming out of nowhere, and he's not, he's Colombian or whatever.
Nielsen.
Yeah. It's like, it's like if there was a script for that player, it's come out of nowhere. That script. It's not that Arsenal has said we need to bring this guy through the ranks.
Gabriel Paulista.
Yeah.
Those kind of players.
And everything from the day Alexis joined, I remember when he joined from Barcelona, I was like, have we really just signed Alexis Sanchez? Arsenal? Done early in the summer. Alexis can do preseason. I watched his first game in the, not in the Emirates Cup, in the Carabao at the time. What was it called? Community Shield at the time versus Man City. And I was like, oh, the first touches, the flair, the flicks. Alexis has that, like, Eden Hazard type. One of my favorite things about Alexis Sanchez is that turn that he would do. He would ask for the ball short to feet, and then he would just sort of and spin with the ball, take it.
Yeah.
But Alexis Sanchez at Arsenal had that never say die, that dog attitude that I'm not leaving here without a point, without 3 points. If it's 1-1, I'm making it 2-1.
Yeah.
If it's 1-0 down, I'm making it 1-1. And he would score every. We watched the comp a couple weeks ago of his goal. He would score every type of goal in between the centre backs, crashing header, right foot, left foot, free kick. I think his time at Arsenal might be my top 4 or 5 favorite times as a player. I was putting Alexis in all sorts of conversations, best in the league conversations, world class conversations. I just think that he was honestly so good for us.
Well, there was a season that I think he scored 24 league goals.
Yeah.
He got 10 assists. He was the best player in the league that season. The biggest thing about Alexis to me, and you touched on it there, was there were games where the rest of our team they weren't really up for it or
happy with the result.
We're going to lose this one.
Yeah.
We're going to get a point here.
Yeah.
And it was Alexis on the pitch that was like, no, we're not losing this game. Or we're winning this game. Or I'm going to turn this 0 points into 1 or this 1 point into 3. He was that guy. And up until Bukayo Saka in the last 2 years, maybe we haven't had that.
We haven't had that for sure.
Right? Since
team
that.
on our back, give it to this guy, he'll make it work.
100%. And I think there's a lot of similarities between the two of them. In their game. And like you say, before that, hadn't had that since RVP.
Yeah.
Because even Aubameyang, and I would love to put Aubameyang in there, but Aubameyang didn't have that dog.
Change the game.
Yeah,
change the game. If we're playing
Aubameyang was world class when
for sure. If we're playing well, Aubameyang would score to make us capitalize on the moment.
Yeah.
But Alexis could turn we're not playing well today.
Yeah.
And turn that into points nonetheless. And as I say,
it's more for Alexis and Saka compared to Aubameyang. Is more the big games, the away games.
The Tottenhams
they just influence Chelsea's.
For me as well with Alexis, it's like it's the type of goals that he was scoring. Yeah. Alexis would, as I say, he would score all sorts of goals, but he like any sort of dilly-dallying at the back, any back pass that wasn't all the way to the keeper, Alexis was there and you were punished. You were punished. Yeah. I remember some of the free kicks where like he'd smash a free kick into the wall and then just smash the rebound.
The rebound. Yeah.
Just smash the
Straight
rebound top. This is going in.
Yeah.
I don't care that you blocked it first time. This is going in.
Do you remember his FA Cup final goal against Villa?
Yeah.
He cuts inside and this straight past the
he had some at home versus United. He had some away versus was it away? Was it at home versus Liverpool? Where it's just like cutting top bins. I think, and the good thing about Alexis, and I think a lot of fans want this in your team, is he was one of the very few players who I could hang my hat on and be like, he gets into your team or he gets into every team in the league. Type of thing.
Agreed.
Yeah, and he was always part of discussions on MNF, and he was always part of post-match discussions of how good is this guy, and it was like, that's what I loved about Alexis.
Whether it's at striker, whether it's on the right, whether it's on the left, Alexis gets into...
We had one of them ones where it was like undeniable to a certain extent that everybody was appreciative of what this player brings to the 100%. Game. And I also, as I say, to the point, I still think Arsenal could pull off the signing of Alexis Sanchez.
Yeah.
And I know Barca had signed Neymar in that window, whatever it was, 2015 or whatever. But I was like, I thought he was going to go Juventus. I thought he was... Well, Arsenal to do that midsummer, get that done.
Yeah. And Alexis it's a nice one because he went to Man United and he
stunk it up. Stunk it up. Not the same.
We had Alexis on our top 10 worst Man United transfers. Yeah. So that's also where it's good. But these top 5 are voted for by everyone that I asked for lists. So that tells you what you need to know. It was unanimous that everyone put Alexis in their list. But in 4th place, a guy that both me and Michael love, and this is the only guy that I was willing, or DM at least, that I was willing to accept to be above Gilberto Silva, even though personally I didn't put him above him.
Yeah.
Fernandinho.
Yeah.
But again, voted for by everyone. Matt had him the highest in 3rd.
Sorry.
And Fernandinho, 5 Premier League titles. So of that 17 that I mentioned, listen to the 5 Premier League titles and 6 League Cups.
Yeah. But Fernandinho was serious. And I remember when Fernandinho first came from Shakhtar, and it was like they signed him. I don't know if they signed Fernando the summer before. They came in the same window or whatever it was. And it was like, does City really need 2 Brazilian sixes? What's going on? But Fernandinho was quality. And we speak about this. We're going to do a Pep pod at some point. We're going to do all these pods, to be a 6 in Pep's team. And Fernandinho was playing in midfields that was just like David Silva and Gundo. Like he's got 2 lightweight guys in midfield, and Fernandinho needs to be all the dark arts, all the aggression, all the muscle, all the composure on the ball, all the tech. He has to be like 5 different footballers in one, because he's got 2 5'8" guys,
but not
a 5'6" or and they were still that good. They were still winning the league with 100 points. They were still beating Liverpool to title races, 98, 90 points. And Fernandinho is a linchpin to that, bro. Want to talk about the art of cynical fouls, the stuff Fernandinho would do to stop a transition. The on the ball stuff. And my all-time favorite Fernandinho, I remember we used to message about this, was the
tactical fouls.
Not even just the tactical fouls. The Fernandinho versus Arsenal. I'm gonna be the 4 and the 6. I'm gonna slot right in between the centre backs. I'm getting a little bit older. I need to protect my legs a little bit. Pep's gonna play me right in between the 2 centre backs, and I'm just gonna boss it. I'm just gonna get
for Fernandinho to win with Pellegrini, right, and have that one Premier League, and to then win another 4 with Pep, and like you say, to be a number 6 in Pep's system, to mold himself to play that role
with the other midfielders. If he had another 6-foot guy with him who could also be muscle and who could also calm, but Fernandinho was all the muscle,
because it was Yaya Toure
with Pellegrini,
right? And then Pep surrounded him with these lightweight guys that just wanted to play with the ball. And as much as Fernandinho was brilliant off the ball, he was so top level with the ball, like taking it in tight areas, finding the out ball.
His pass completion rates must be through the roof. I remember like grabbing a 442 magazine way back when, throwback, and like I don't know if he was on the front cover, but he was talking about how he wants to go a season without misplacing a pass or having at least 95% pass accuracy. I don't know if he ever did that, but he would have got like I wouldn't be. I think his all-time Man City pass accuracy is probably in the high 80s.
Yeah,
Early 90s. Like Fernandinho was very secure with it. What other thing I was gonna say on Fernandinho was I feel like he's a little bit hard done by with how good Rodri was. Because before Rodri came into the league, Fernandinho was getting a lot of the Rodri love and hype. Not
irreplaceable.
Exactly.
You can't lose Fernandinho.
Exactly. He was getting a lot of that love and hype, and then it was like, oh, but Rodri seems to be doing Fernandinho things and scoring goals and getting assists.
I was gonna say Fernandinho walked so Rodri could run, but I think that's disrespectful to Fernandinho.
Yeah.
Because Fernandinho was running.
Before Rodri, first season Rodri wasn't getting too many games and all this kind of stuff, and we were saying, but Fernandinho's already in the top, could be top 10 central midfielders, DMs of all time.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, we've done top 10 South American here, but for me, Fernandinho's in my top 10.
Yeah, I remember we were having those conversations of like Fernandinho has to be, but now Rodri has done just a ridiculous level of performance and consistency that
Rodri would be in there, but I would still have Fernandinho in there. Obviously have to do the list, but I think I'm pretty sure I'd still have Fernandinho.
My only thing is like that's it. Is like Fernandinho's career is what it is and is at this level, but he's not overrated or anything like that. It's just that Rodri has done so much that it feels like people don't mention Fernandinho as much as they would have. If Rodri just had a normal trajectory, Rodri just had a normal trajectory, we'd be saying, "Oh, Fernandinho and Rodri and all this kind of stuff." But
100%. If even if Rodri had been what we kind of almost expect Zubimendi to be, he's just like a stable 6. There's a bit of a drop off from Fernandinho here, but he's doing the job. But yeah, Rodri he went and upped the levels. Third place, and these top 3, there's a bit of a jump here. And these top 3 are unanimously again voted for by everyone. Third place, Carlos Tevez.
Yes, sir.
Ahmad had him second, and I had him third. And the reason, where did you have him? You had him fourth. The reason I had him third was, and this is almost entirely why he's so high on my list. He won the league at 2 different clubs. And when any player does that in any sport, in basketball, if they go and win it at 2 franchises, Drew Holiday, you're
Rajon Rondo
as a role player, you're there.
Yeah.
Right? We know what you can do. You've won it with 2 different franchises, and for Tevez to win it with 2 Manchester clubs,
I was gonna say it's not just But
even if
pedigree,
you do it, even if
I agree.
you go and win it as arguably like one of the best forward players or strikers at one team, and you go to another team
and you win it,
Riyad Mahrez and N'Golo Kante,
that's what I was saying.
Any of
those are the guys I was
yeah,
thinking of.
They go and win it at 2 different clubs. Fair play, but to win it with the 2 Manchester clubs,
I was gonna say,
and Tevez's story,
I had him high up there for everything that you've just mentioned, but I also love the additional, like South American. I can't say bullshit because that makes it sound a certain way, but like how he came into the league with Mascherano. That is one of my favorite all-time Premier League stories.
They weren't actually owned by West Ham.
In the middle of Feb.
Yeah.
West
Ham didn't actually own them. They were owned by a separate agent who had them.
Bro, West Ham get 2 Argentinian guys in the middle of Feb and stay up. They're shoe-ins for relegation.
And they would have gone down.
They're shoe-ins for relegation. And Tevez and Mascherano are on crud. Tevez is scoring.
Tevez that scores the goal.
That's what I'm saying.
At Old Trafford. On the last day.
And then joins them.
Yeah.
And then it's the same thing again. Scores versus City and then joins City.
Yeah.
So I love Tevez for his entire story. Obviously, he also went on to go to Juventus and have a good career outside of the Premier League. But the Tevez, even in the Premier League, for what you've said, 2 Premier Leagues at different clubs, but I think Tevez could probably be in like the best Premier League front 3. If you think it's Ronaldo, Rooney, Tevez as the best Premier League front 3, he's a part of that.
He won the Champions League with Man United as well.
Tevez's stuff, just his ability. Now we've already spoken about his story, but just his ability alone can't also be understated.
Yeah.
Tevez was cold. Left foot, right foot, big game player, small game, BGB, small club bully, whatever it takes. And as I said before, we're going to speak about 2 other guys that are the same. But Tevez is also in that category, bro. These South Americans, in particular, the South American forwards, Yeah, they have an ability to just score every type of goal.
Yeah.
This ball is ending up in the back of the net, inside the foot, outside the foot, inside the box, outside the box, header,
and they
free
have
kick.
they have that. This is just going to ricochet off 3 people, and I'm going to slap it in. Tevez had that. One of my favorite Tevez stories, and it's not quite Jordan, because obviously Jordan's untouchable, right? But obviously Jordan went and played baseball and then came back and won another 3-peat. Tevez,
that golf
goes to play golf.
Yeah, that golfing thing
from like November to February.
Fell out with Mancini.
Yeah, Tevez is just playing golf in
Mancini's
Argentina.
begging to get him back.
Yeah,
Mancini,
Aguero.
Yeah.
First game back, they go to Norwich.
They get a brace each.
Tevez 2 goals, 3 assists, and he comes back when they're like 7 points behind.
Yeah.
And they go and win the league.
They go and win the league.
He takes it off his old club. That like you
can't
missed this
that.
part of the season.
Yeah.
And Tevez came back and scored big. I remember he scored against Chelsea.
And it's the celebrations as well.
Yeah, the golf celebration.
It's the not caring. I'll go and do it again.
Yeah,
yeah. type of thing.
Almost like I was justified.
And
Tevez, this team can't win without.
He does have the iconic, like, Tevez in the black gloves, long sleeve shirts, like your defender. But as I say, kind of like I was saying with Alexis Sanchez, if you're dilly dallying at the back, if the ball doesn't have everything it needs to get back to the keeper, you will be punished. And I love those goals. I love those goals where it's like they remind you that this is football at the highest level. Yeah. At any championship level, 5-a-side, kick up your boys, you can get away with that back pass. You can get away with that. Someone's not going to chase it down. If they do, it's a tough shot, whatever. But Tevez,
touch.
Yeah, Tevez and these guys. Bro, if you're unsure about what you're doing with the ball back there, it is ending up in the back of the net. Yeah. As you say, double ricochet, triple ricochet, whatever it takes. Inside the foot, outside the foot, inside the box, outside the box.
Well, the king of all of that. Those ricochets, those don't make a mistake, those let you know the level we're playing at. So our second place, Luis Suarez, who again, had this been over their whole career, maybe would have been first. But he's second on our list, voted for by everyone. You and Matt had him second. I think I had him fourth.
That's low down.
Well, Gilberto Silva was second. So I had the top 3.
To be fair, I had to have us fourth because I had Alexis Sanchez in my top 3.
I had to have Gilberto Silva second. Invincible. But Luis Suarez, everything we've just mentioned there, but so much more.
Sort of times 10, yeah.
For him to score, what was it, 31 league goals,
like
which I think broke the record at the time.
Like a 32-game season or whatever he had.
Because he missed the first 7 games.
Yeah.
Through stuff that we won't talk about on the pod.
Do your Googles.
Yeah. You can Google that. You can Google Jamie Carragher and the Liverpool team coming out in the T-shirts that they were wearing. We don't need to talk about that. You can Google that. Google why he missed the first set. But he missed 7 games. And so in a 31-game season, he scored 31 goals. I don't even know how many assists he got.
I think
that's a ridiculous number.
I think Luis Suarez has the biggest fear factor of anybody on this list. Yeah. And he's not number 1. But I think he has the biggest fear factor.
Yeah.
If you was lacing up your boots, if you was in the tunnel and 2013, 14 or 2012 to 2015, Luis Suarez was on the other side, you're thinking, bro, they have at least 1 or 2 goals already. Yeah. We need to score 3 to win this game.
Yeah.
You could be whoever you are.
Yeah.
Especially
if it's Norwich.
Yeah.
Especially, we need to score 5.
Well, I everything that's nothing more. There's nothing new to say about Luis Suarez in terms of what he did at Liverpool, man. You've seen it all. You've heard it all. He's done it all. The only thing I will speak to is that fear factor and feeling that. And Luis Suarez, ironically, didn't actually have the best big game record. Yeah. But it didn't stop me from going into these games thinking, man, Luis Suarez could score 2 here.
Yeah. In terms of the numbers, but in terms of the eye test,
he always
felt Luis Suarez's parent.
I remember at Anfield that we lost this game by handsomely, by like 2 or 3 goals. And I remember Luis Suarez hit this half volley shot that rattled the crossbar.
Yeah, I remember.
And I was like, no one on our team can.
That was that season he was on fire.
No one on our team can do this. No one can take that shot on with that risk.
Yeah,
get it anywhere near the target, rattle the crossbar, come back, try and grab the assist. Luis Suarez could. Well, he could dribble from the halfway line, beat 4 or 5 guys, tuck it in
Yeah.
the corner. He could just
Left
smack
foot,
it.
right foot.
Yeah, smack it 30, 40 yards, entering.
He's got one goal against Newcastle.
Yeah,
He's
off the
one
shoulder.
when he brings it down.
Yeah.
Takes it round the goalkeeper.
And you know I say that. Players never want to take it around the goalkeeper anymore.
But after, bro, he's already in the box when he's brought it down. He's then taking it around the goalkeeper with his next touch. He's just a supreme footballer. And first touch, everything about it.
One of the best things about Luis Suarez was the Liverpool team he came into was an all-right team. But as soon as he got there, title contenders.
Yeah. Liverpool paid more for Andy Carroll.
Yeah. As soon as he got there, and he was sort of an unknown package. We knew he was a good player. In
Ajax.
We knew he was a good player. But as I say, when these South Americans take this league, by the scruff of the neck, by the balls, however you want to say it, bro, it becomes so undeniable.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, we should have got it, type of thing. Obviously, Arsenal tried 40 mil plus one.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Luis Suarez's game, especially for those 2 to 3, I think he went on to be the best striker in the world.
I was gonna say, I think we should touch on the guy he became.
He went on to be the best striker in the world. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like one at Barcelona, one at Atletico Madrid. His stuff is so certified. Luis Suarez will be in my top 3 strikers of all time type of conversation. For everything, eye test, goals scored, accolades won, whatever you want to measure him on. He's sort of there for it. But for me, man, his time in Liverpool, it was defined by fear factor. The moment he came, they became title challengers. He just added 30 goals to any team that he played in. Yeah. And he was playing with some scrubs, bro. Joe Allen.
And to be fair, I said about the RVP profile being as unique as David Luiz. This is the closest you would have got to that. He's probably right there with RVP if we're being real.
As
that 9-10, he can drop in, he could create, he could score his 30 goals.
He was ridiculous
footballer.
He was
absolutely ridiculous footballer. And that's our second place. So unanimously, first place, voted first by everyone that sent me a list. There was no debate, nothing to be said here.
This is a nuts accolade in itself.
Sergio Aguero, 5 Premier Leagues, 1 FA Cup, 6 League Cups. And I mean, like you say, that tells you everything.
You need to know.
I asked 7 different people, and every single one of them put Sergio Aguero first, above Luis Suarez, above Carlos Tevez. Chelsea fan, United fan, doesn't matter. Sergio Aguero was first.
Sergio Aguero embodies. This is just going to end up in the back of the net.
Yeah,
he has
1 chance, 1 goal.
Yeah.
When we say that a lot on the pod.
Yeah,
that's the guy.
That's the guy. He's got the big game record. He's got the small game record. Sergio Aguero never stayed fit for an entire season, but always ended up with 17, 18, 19, 20.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
If he was fit for 2 or 3 months, he was going to have 15 goals in those 2 to 3 months.
João Pedro-esque.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
I've got enough love for Sergio Aguero. My favorite Sergio Aguero thing is the right side of the box, right foot finish into the near post.
Yeah.
He had that on lock. Yeah. It just felt like every time Sergio Aguero got to the 6-yard box-ish area on his right foot, the goal we scored to win this will never happen again. What does the commentator say? To win the league.
Drink
it in. That moment, that goal, to envision that goal. Sergio scored that 200 times. He scored that goal 1,000,000 times, bro.
And the pressure of that moment.
Yeah, everything.
And he takes the touch.
Everything.
Leaves the defender on the floor. Hits in near post.
As well, to your point of the top 3, kind of like Suarez, kind of like Tevez. There was, kind of like Fernandinho. There was he's a good player at Atletico, but is he really going to come here and tear it up? He's a bit short. He's not really as tall or as strong as some of these other strikers that we've seen. Debut brace, and he never looked back from there. Yeah. As I say, when they hit, bro. And Aguero scored on every debut, Manchester debut, London debut. First time versus this club. First time, whatever you want to, bro. Whatever challenge. he scored on his
Yeah.
debut on it,
Yeah.
type of thing. If not what, if not 1, 2, 3, 4,
And it was just that inevitability of this guy's gonna score.
and he would come back from injury. Man City fans would be clamoring for him to come back, and he would play Liverpool. And I'd be like, is Aguero gonna score too?
Yeah,
Aguero scores versus Anfield, whatever.
Yeah.
Aguero scores versus Liverpool.
Yeah. My favorite thing about Aguero was, and I've said this to you before, off air, that he would score goals from relatively far out, like it could be on the edge of the box, just outside the box, where it looks like it's a pass,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just rolled slowly, but it's so precise. It's hit the side netting. The keeper's at full stretch, and he still can't get there. Left foot, right foot. It just seemed to almost be a pass into the back of the net. And yeah, he was just so lethal, so clinical, the perfect striker, really.
Yeah.
And even Pep came in and benched him.
Yeah, and that's those are all the crazy things that happened towards the end. It's Pep coming into bench him, but even to our point, when Aguero came in, I don't think anybody was looking at this guy as like he's gonna be, all-time goal scorer for City.
But you can't at that point, right?
Yeah,
I don't even really think guys looked at Haaland like that.
Haaland had a bit more of that though.
He definitely had more of it, but nobody thought Haaland was gonna score 36 or whatever it was.
Yeah, I do hear that, but I think it's even crazier for Aguero because Haaland is somebody I expect to love the league, stay in the league, and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, he loves English already. It makes it easy for him.
Yeah. He's used to cold weather.
Aguero was here for how many years?
Yeah.
Aguero. It's not that I can't even say Aguero didn't learn English. He knows English. He just never gave an interview.
Never
gave an. I turn up, I score my goals, I go home, I play FIFA. I go home, at that point he wasn't even streaming.
It's true.
And I just thought it was just like, can this guy really be Man City's all-time top scorer? Can he really have over 100, almost 200 Premier League goals? And they have statues for whoever they have, but Aguero needs a statue.
Yeah. For that moment alone.
And as you say, if there was ever a reason to put him top, I have never seen another Premier League moment like that one, man.
Yeah.
And I might not ever.
He's responsible for probably the greatest Premier League moment.
Yeah, the biggest.
Of all time.
For sure. The most iconic, the most everything.
Man United fans won't agree with us, but
I mean,
it is what it is.
I won't forget where I was when Aguero.
Exactly. I don't think Man United fans certainly they certainly won't forget where they were. I remember Phil Jones with his top off at the pitch, thinking they'd won the league, thinking game was over.
Triple C at the end.
Yeah. Them talking about anytime Filthy get a guy from QPR on them talking about them fixing, and QPR weren't trying to score goals and they knew they were up and what. But yeah, look, Aguero probably the best, probably right there with Harry Kane in terms of finisher, one chance, one goal,
any type of finish.
Yeah, that we've probably seen.
I think he still has the best goals per minute ratio, or best like goals per game ratio, or whatever it would be in the league. And again, we said this in many different ways, but if another striker was to come in, kind of like Salah now, if another striker was to come in and whatever way you want to splice the stats, goals per minute, goals per game, big game goals, whatever goals versus top, whatever, Aguero is top 2 in those stats for whatever
for all of them.
However you want to slice it up, however you want to go and do your extra statistics, and
because there's a consistency with Aguero as well. Like you say, he didn't stay fit for a whole season, but every season there was still the 16, 17, 18 up to 20 goals that he was going to get. But yeah, look, so I'll read our top 10 off. 10th, Thiago Silva. 9th, David Luiz. 8th, Firmino. 7th, Alisson. 6th, Gilberto Silva. 5th, Alexis Sanchez. 4th, Fernandinho. 3rd, Carlos Tevez. 2nd, Luis Suarez. And 1st, as the best South American player to have played in the Premier League, voted for by us, was Sergio Aguero. Thank you guys for listening. Like I said at the start, please subscribe, follow us on Spotify, follow us on Insta.
Let us know your list, man. Let us know your top 10.
Let us know if you think we've missed any players. Let us know if Coutinho or any of these guys we mentioned should be in the top 10. And we'll do MVPs and rookies on this ep. I've got an MVP for Jason Tatum.
I knew you was gonna say Jason Tatum,
the game winner against Toronto.
I knew you was gonna say. I'll give the Cleveland Cavaliers MVP.
Yeah, Yep.
Donovan Mitchell still
I'm
undefeated.
gonna try and tune in for that game tonight.
Oh,
The
it's
Celtics.
tonight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because as we're speaking, as we're recording, the Cavs are still undefeated.
Yeah, as we're recording.
So
we got to give John Jones an MVP.
Yep.
I'll give Charles Oliveira an MVP.
Yep.
I'll give Dana White an MVP. International break kept us ticking along. With enough content and with enough everything going on. There was a good UFC card. Obviously more to come. I'll give Jake Paul an MVP.
Yeah.
He did what he needed to do.
Yeah.
I'll give Netflix an MVP.
Such a boring fight. Yeah, Netflix can get one.
Netflix deciding to move into the only thing I hope Netflix don't do, and I know they will at some point, is bring ads. But I respect for now the hell out of Netflix for jumping into the sports sphere and not having ads. And I can just watch 2-3 hours of sports or wherever it might be with ad-free content. Because even on the Amazon, I'm watching an Amazon movie.
The ads.
As soon as interesting point comes along, or as soon as there's Amazon slapping
I was watching
2 minute 41 seconds of unskippable ads. I'm like, bro, this is TV.
I was watching Skyfall again the other day. And it's on Prime, and the ads, man. I need to find another way to watch this.
I was like, the whole reason I'm paying you £8 or £9 a month is because I don't want to pay £8, £9 a month and pay for TV and still have to subject myself to ads. And
100%.
It's ridiculous, man.
Any rookies?
Zinchenko.
Alexander Zinchenko. I'm done with it. I'm actually done with it. Like, look, you can talk. Footballers can talk and they can say whatever they want, but as a fan, and you don't have to listen to me, you don't have to take my opinion, you don't have to do anything, but I'm just going to give my opinion because we're here on our podcast. If you are not balling,
don't
want
doing
to hear
extracurricular activities.
If you are balling, go and say whatever you want. We said this about Noni, and when Noni was like, everything about this place is a shithole. And then he dropped a hat trick. Cool,
calm,
nothing to say.
Wolves is a shithole.
Yeah. I'll back it.
I'm with you,
right?
Like, thumbs up.
Yeah, Noni wants to do TikToks. Noni wants to do videos with Ruby Rose. Cool, you're balling, so I don't care. Yeah. Zinchenko, you are behind Luis Skelly, bro. Focus.
And it's not even just you can be getting minutes and not balling, and I don't want to hear from you. Zinchenko, you're not even getting minutes.
Yeah.
Bro. You've played 3 games maybe this season. You've made 3 appearances this season, and everything else is just interviews. It's just like
honestly, it just seems like you're trying to keep yourself relevant.
Allow
it. Not getting minutes, so now you're doing these interviews because I do not want to see you on Rio's podcast.
Allow it.
Do not go on Rio's.
He can't do it now. He can't do a back-to-back seasons of Rio's. He's even less interesting than he was
at this point.
I'm
not putting anything past Zinchenko.
Come on, man. That's
but he's getting a rookie from me.
I think we kind of have to give Vinny a rookie. I saw that Vinny missed a crucial penalty for Brazil.
Yeah. I saw that.
They drew the game 1-1 in the end. He needs to step up that goal count for Brazil. I know there's pressure. I know there's this. I know there's that. But Vinny knows that that's the defining factor for him.
Yeah. Luka Dean,
MVP.
Luka Dean MVP, and on the flip side, Vicario.
But we know you know that already. You guys, you knew that already.
If you watch the France-Italy game, then you know.
Yeah.
But, Vicario looking suspect there. Other than that, I'm not sure. Not too much has happened.
No, not too much else has happened.
Yeah. So we'll leave it at that. Let us know if you like this episode. We have got some more top 10s coming. We've got top 10 summer signings in the works, which would be a good one. And just let us know what kind of top 10s you might want to see in the future. And thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next week. Peace.